I am a gift to the city from the gods. Is there anyone wiser than Socrates? I respected the laws, even when they failed me. Better to die honest than live a coward. Socrates was an interesting person. In the last video, we talked about how he'd approach procrastination. We said that he's a person that examined everything. He would ask, think, criticize, dissect, and then at the end, he concludes that he knows nothing. But at least he tried. That man is an example of how taking things too far could land you in some serious shit. I'm talking drinking some good mojito infused with a deadly poison. If only there was a way to talk to Socrates himself and ask him what happened. I think I've got an idea. Who the hell is Daddy? Who are you? Where are my legs? What am I doing here? Oh shit, you really can't help it. Just come with me, I'll tell you everything later. Yo, what's up? It's your boy F, and today we've got a special guest. They called him the wisest man alive. Plato said he was a gadfly stinging the lazy horse of Athens, but he questioned everything. The gods, the politicians, and the truth itself. And he pissed so many people off, they sentenced him to death. Give it up for the philosophy goat, Socrates. Thanks for having me, F. I always wanted to tell what Plato said on my behalf, but never got the chance. Feels good I can't talk without Athens up my ass, man. Yeah, about that. Why were you so annoying that they killed you? Let's start with the prophecy. A classic mistake. It's all my boy Cherfon's mistake. I was just the normal amount of annoying. Then Cherfon ran off to this oracle at Delphi and asked, is there anyone wiser than Socrates? The oracle was like, nope, he's the wisest in all of Athens. Were you the wisest man in Athens? I was shocked. I was like, there is no way that's true. So I went on a quest, not for answers, but for someone wiser than me. I visited politicians first. Big mistake. They had titles, power, confidence, but couldn't explain basic ethics. I asked this old guy Cephalos, what is justice? He goes, paying your debts, telling the truth. I said, cool. So, if your friend gives you a sword and goes crazy, do you give it back? Suddenly he had to go feed his dog. Then his son jumps in. He says, justice is helping friends and hurting enemies. So I asked, what if you're wrong about who's who? Can justice really mean hurting people? Then Thrasymachus bursts in like, justice is whatever the strong says it is. So I asked, what if the rulers make mistakes? Does that mean injustice is justice now? Then he went quiet, just like the others. So what is justice? We still don't know what justice is, but at least now we know what it isn't. That's one step, right? So you're the wisest because people couldn't survive your questions? Not really. It is because I knew I'm clueless. So is everyone. And I told people that. Turns out people hate being reminded they're clueless. I was just out of the courthouse, getting ready to be accused of corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods, and then I ran into Euthyphro. He's a self-proclaimed religious expert, and he was prosecuting his own father for murder. Apparently, one of his family servants killed a man. His dad tied the servant up, he threw him in a ditch, and left him there while sending for legal advice. The guy died waiting. Euthyphro thought prosecuting his own father was the holy thing to do. So I said, you seem very confident about what's pious. Maybe you could teach me since I'm being charged with being impious. And I asked him, what is piety? He says, piety is doing what I'm doing right now, prosecuting wrongdoers, even if it's your own family. I told him, I am not asking for examples of piety. I want the definition. What makes pious act pious? No matter the situation. He tries again. Piety is what the gods love. So I say, cool. But don't the gods fight and disagree all the time? One god loves justice, another god loves revenge. So is the same act both pious and impious? So he updates, no, piety is what all gods agree on. I say, okay, but now tell me, is it pious because the gods love it, or do the gods love it because it's pious? Wait, that's the catch, right? Exactly. If the gods love it because it's pious, then there is a higher standard than gods. Something outside of them that defines right and wrong.
But if something is pious only because the gods love it, then morality is arbitrary. The gods could love anything, even evil.
So either way, his logic collapses.
He couldn't answer it. He tried to change the subject a few times. Gave me some vague piety is service to the gods thing, but I asked, what kind of service? Like feeding them, fixing their temples? Do the gods need us? He realized he had no solid definition, just assumptions.
And what happened next?
He dipped, literally walked away. Didn't want to miss his court appointment or finish the conversation.
Yet another expert got humbled.
I wasn't trying to humiliate him. I just wanted clarity. He thought he knew what piety was until he was asked to explain it.
Oh, let me guess. You still didn't offer your definition, did you?
Of course not. I don't claim to know. I just help others see when they don't know either.
So this is your secret weapon. This is what you call the elenchus?
Ah, yes. That's my interrogation mode. Basically, I'd ask someone to define something, like courage or virtue or love. Then I'd test their definition with real-world examples and counter questions. It was like mental chess. No yelling, no preaching, just questions. Question after question, until their logic falls apart.
You ever do this in a casual conversation?
All the time. There is a story about a guy named Lacus. He thought courage was standing your ground. So I asked, what about retreating when it's smart? Isn't that courageous too? Boom, his definition broke. And this wasn't just to be clever, it was how I helped people refine their beliefs. Elenchus wasn't about winning, it was about clarifying.
Let's go back to religion. You didn't exactly make friends with the priests, did you?
I'd hear these myths, gods turning into animals, stealing, cheating, starting wars, and I'd ask, if the gods are perfect, why are they acting like messy-human? People loved the stories but hated the questions. I said, maybe the gods we worship aren't moral models. Maybe they're just stories.
Sounds like blasphemy.
To the powerful? Yes. To me, it was intellectual honesty. And it made the youth question the old tales. So they said I was corrupting the youth. But I wasn't handing out drugs or burning temples. I was handing out doubts. That's what scared them.
What about the Sophists? I hear they are the ancient grifters.
Kind of. They were like motivational speakers with a philosophy twist. They charged people to learn how to speak well and win debates, even if they were wrong. It was all about winning, not truth. I'd show up at their public talks and start asking questions. No insults, just logic. But when you're selling fake wisdom, logic is bad for business.
Okay, you're in a courtroom, 501 jurors staring at you. No lawyer, no nothing. What is the vibe?
Pretty hostile. I wasn't just some crank. I was accused of corrupting the youth and not believing in the gods of the city.
And Miletus? He was the main dude behind the charges, right?
Yeah, so I said, cool, let's talk. I brought him up and asked, you say I corrupt the youth. With what? Bad behavior? Immortality? Miletus says, you teach them not to believe in gods. So I said, do I believe in no gods? Or just not the ones you believe in? He couldn't answer, so I pressed harder. I asked, who improves the youth? Who makes them better? He said, the laws. So I said, laws don't teach people. People do. Who are those people? He mumbled, everyone improves the youth, except you. So I said, everyone in Athens improves them, and only I corrupt them. That's like saying only one horse trainer ruins horses and everyone else makes them better. He accused me of atheism, but later said I believed in spiritual things. So I asked, wait, how can I believe in spirits but not in gods? That's like saying someone believes in flute playing but not flute players.
So he contradicted himself.
All over the place. He just wanted me gone. Not because I was wrong, but because I made people like him look foolish. I told the court, I don't corrupt the youth. I challenge them. I don't reject the gods. I question how you portray them. I said, if I'm guilty of anything, it's making people think.
And how'd that go?
Not great. I called out powerful men. I said I'd keep doing philosophy, even if it meant death. I refused to cry, beg, or bring my family to the court like other defendants.
So you basically said, I don't need your pity.
Exactly. Then came the vote, guilty or not guilty. Out of 501 jurors, 280 found me guilty. 221 found me not guilty.
Oh god, that's so close.
A swing of 30 votes and I would have walked free.
Then what?
Now they asked me to suggest my own punishment. They expected me to say exile or pay a fine. The other option is the state's punishment, which was execution. I found it unfair. All I did is ask questions, and now I have to be punished?
That's a pretty terrible situation, man. What did you say then? Paying a fine seems like a good option to me. If it were me, I would take that. I would take that.
Of course not. I did nothing wrong. I told them, I am a gift to the city from the gods. I should be rewarded. So I suggested free meals for life, like Olympic heroes. But they didn't like that.
Let me guess. You lost.
Another vote was held to choose my punishment. 361 votes for my death, 140 for me to be fed by the state.
More people wanted you dead than guilty.
They got angrier after my second speech. I didn't grovel, I didn't fold.
So they sentenced you.
To death by hemlock. My friends begged me to run. I said no. I respected the laws, even when they failed me. Better to die honest than live a coward. The day came, they gave me the poison and asked me if I feared death. I said, to fear death is to think you know what you don't. Death may be the greatest gift, a dreamless sleep.
You wouldn't stop annoying them even when you're half gone, would you?
Hell no. I wanted to die the same way I lived. As I always say, unexamined life is not worth living.
Was that all worth it?
You tell me. You brought me back from the death to talk to me. What do you think?
That's true. And thanks for your time, old man. Appreciate it. Now you can go back home.
What is home? The place I've been living in for the past decades, or Athens?
I know nothing, man. I'm not debating you. Just go wherever you feel like. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Socrates, the man who asked so many questions that he got himself a poison-infused mojito. Let me know what you think about our history podcast, and let me know who you want us to host next.